Your event is starting. And we're live. Starting the music. In the chat, can you hear me? Let me know in the chat, please. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Sweet. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scream Stream. We're back. I got a very special guest tonight. I got Mother Mayhem. How cool is this, right? But first, before she talks, Cody, Brian, and what's his name again? How are you guys doing? No, seriously, guys. Yeah, it's an honor to have Mother Mayhem here. You guys all know her. She's a big, huge part of the horror community. She's the real deal, dyed in the wool. And I've been trying to get her on for quite a long time. I've begged her, and finally she's here. So, right. Why did you do that? Damn you. Lindsay, how are you doing today? Oh, goodness. Well, you know, I think a good reason I wanted you on here, too, is to maybe kind of, because you are one of the bigger female YouTubers in the horror community, and to get maybe a perspective of, you know, what it's like, I guess, to be a female YouTuber, because you guys do have your challenges here and there. I guess everybody has their challenges, but first off, the first thing I want to talk about is what they can only hear me. Are you kidding me? Wow, hold on. What? Hold on, let me see if... You have got to be kidding me. Well, that's a first. That's never happened. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. That is strange. Wow. Oh my God. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I don't see a mute button here or anything for you guys. That is so strange. Boy, this sucks. Hold on, let me see what I can do here. Let me go to my Skype window here and see if... That is so strange. That makes no sense that they can't hear you guys. Yeah. That is freaking strange. I'm trying to figure out why this is doing this. I've never ever had this happen. This is very weird. Lunatic Sun, thank you so much for that donation. I appreciate that. I apologize for this hiccup here. Trying to figure out what it is that's causing this. I've never had this happen before. What we could do is I could stop this. No. I wonder if it's because my Skype window is up. I don't know. Because usually I'm not. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, how about this then? We could stop streaming, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop streaming here, and I will hang up on Skype. I will call you guys back, but you won't be able to see me. How about that? Okay, so everybody in the chat, just stand by. Stand by. Okay, so now the delay should come up, and let's see if we're good to go again. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear everybody else besides me? Please. Oh, you're kidding me. This is insane. This is... Well, I notice... Well, now... Mute your microphone. That is so freaking weird. I don't get it. Yeah, but it would make no sense for another person coming into Skype to cause the audio to go out. It's weird. Doesn't make any sense. I wonder if Horror Addicts ever had this problem. This is crazy. What's the blue icon on Cody's window? That's the video icon. I checked that, and yeah, that's just video. Turn on video, but the audio is... I don't... Any options for this call? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it is that's causing this. Because I can hear you guys, but they can't hear you. That's the issue. Yeah, I know. And now my OBS got jacked up again. I swear. This is the worst. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I have no clue why this is happening. This is weird. Let me check audio here on not that. Filters, properties. Channel
yeah.
Talk now, guys. Keep
I feel
talking.
so unimportant.
Let us know immediately if you guys do actually hear us, which I'm sure they will.
BP's cap is on my window. It's all good.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yep.
Only my head is in there. I look like...
It's just a big old mess. Uh-oh, somebody said they can hear everyone. Somebody just said they can hear everyone. I went into... Now, hold on. Let me I disabled.
Hear us, but now all of our videos are all over the place.
I can fix that. That's easy. I'll tell you what. You guys keep talking.
Which one do you guys want? Video or audio? Pick now.
Okay. It says went away again. I think that's because of the delay.
I went
again. Back and I fixed it. So it should be good. It should be good. Just give it like 20 seconds.
The live commentary is hysterical here in the chat. It went away. Not anymore. Now, yes, there it is. It's back.
Working again. Okay, we're good. We're good.
It's gone. No, wait. No, now I got it.
All right. I tell you what. You guys talk about women in horror for just like 5 minutes so I can fix your videos, okay? Or just say hello, all right?
Hi.
Give me 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone.
CP, take over.
To the Midnight Scream stream. Welcome to Fright Night.
So how's
Welcome
to
Fright Night.
For real.
So, Lindsay, tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
What do I have to really say? I don't know.
Act like
at this point,
before.
like nobody's seen me before. I have hair. I make videos sometimes, and I watch horror movies like once a year.
Oh, and you open boxes too. There's video where you open stuff. So
lots of the unboxing. Yeah.
Now apparently the sound's going in and out, I guess. Or is it the video they're talking about?
No, that's the video. I did that. That's okay.
Okay. They're like, working again. It's in and out. Nope, it's back. Yep, it's out.
Either.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. I do horror-themed things sometimes. Periodically. Not regular at all.
Well, you had a life event that kind of slowed things down, no?
Shit.
No, seriously, and that's where the "fuck you, Cody Leach" thing comes from. That guy has a life too. Look at all the spawn that he's created, and he still finds time to pump out all of these videos. Fuck you, Cody Leach. We're getting it put on shirts, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
If Lee does it first, just know that it was my idea.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We could do the CP thing. We could have like collectible like pictures, but just keep the fucking Cody Leach thing consistent. It'll be a picture of everybody's face, like.
Now everybody looks like they're frozen.
Now they can only hear Cody.
They can only hear Cody.
Can they not hear me? Oh, damn it!
It's
like
Brian,
just
would it be any different if they could?
I want to fall up in fetal position right now.
Cody, you're the man. CP, you're okay. Lee, you're amazing.
Brian didn't even get a mention, so I think okay is pretty good.
I didn't get a mention.
Yeah. What is happening?
Hashtag the other guy.
Yeah. The Leemings are in full force tonight.
I'm telling you.
So, CP, tell us about yourself.
No. They don't care about me.
Well, tell us about Emily, then.
You know what?
Everybody likes Emily.
Emily, hey!
She's got her headphones on. Fuck!
Yeah. We have nothing but soundproof in this house. Yeah, no.
Unfriended Cody edition. See? Other people are getting the unfriended vibes, too.
Oh, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. I think what I'm going to do... Okay, I'm going to hit...
What's your thought on women in horror? Yes. That's
especially Bailey Madison.
Thank you, Emily. I don't know if you heard that, but she said you're welcome. Wait a minute, she should be here in my place. What the fuck? If this is a women in horror thing.
Yeah, you guys should have all had like significant others just fill in for you.
Yeah.
And Levi.
Or at least me.
Levi. He's prettier than all of us.
Yeah, he is.
Lindsay, have you seen the streams where Lee holds Levi and it just looks like the fucking thing's dead? Just like...
It's like he's ripped the head off a moth and stuck it in his lap.
It gets paralyzed or something.
So everybody can still hear us, right? See, I think it's freezing up because I got two different audio things going at the same time.
And we're all frozen.
Yep. I'm gonna try.
Oh man.
I know this is a nightmare.
Why tonight?
Why do we look like three gimps when we're frozen at the bottom? And
More derpy.
Stop.
Oh yeah, and Lindsay's all smiles. What the?
yeah,
Fuck? I'm all,
perfectly frozen, and we're all like,
I look mid-stroke.
I'm just gonna stay like this until we're on. Like,
Are we ready? You ready?
yeah.
Now we all just have to like take a pose and just hold it there for a while.
Okay.
I want to know where.
I love the constant joke about me being a fan of Freddy's Dead. Like I've never heard that one before.
oh man.
Hey, listen, they're paying attention.
Okay, stream's back up now. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
Okay.
I'm an idiot.
I can hear you.
Moron
Can
party.
they hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear us, guys? Can
Mhm.
everyone
Can
hear
you
us?
guys hear them?
Can you hear
I'm not coming up on
Oh,
my
the
wow.
velvety
subtitles,
voice?
so I don't think so.
Okay, I think we're back. Okay, I think we're good.
Hello, hello, hello.
Somehow.
No one touch anything.
Don't touch
Hello.
anything. I think we got through
Computer.
that. Wow.
Can't hear
Okay.
you.
That's
now
gonna
let's-
sound
let's get
awesome to
back
everybody
into
trying to
this.
sleep.
I apologize to everyone. This was tough, but hey, we made it through it. And again, it's an honor to have Mother Mayhem here. Cody, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. A little bit tired, but other than that, I'm good. I go on vacation tomorrow, late afternoon, and I will not be back until Sunday evening, and I cannot fucking wait. So that's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. And me and Cody might be hooking up over the weekend for something, because
Possibly.
we're going to be close. So that
What?
would be cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna drug
Hey,
Holly
you
and my
tell.
kids. I'm gonna go hang out with Lee.
Yep. There you go.
Rendezvous.
CP,
I've been here
how
the
you
whole
doing?
time. What are you talking about?
Cody, bring the lube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Never.
no! Why?
Well, you want to have oh, never mind. That's why.
CP, how are you doing?
I'm exhausted, man. It's almost like 10 p.m. Like I'm just fighting to stay awake here. So
Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll still go until 11. So at least we'll have like an hour and 15-minute good stream. Brian, how are you doing?
Go. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm a bit tired because some a-holes are keeping me up till 2:45 in the morning, and that's just the start time. Yeah, no, I'm good. Nice to be back. Thanks to Emily for filling in on the last episode. Yeah, good job. Hopefully people missed me.
Of course.
On a more important note, did you use your absence to actually buy Nightmare on Elm Street?
oh, Brian.
I don't think Brian likes The Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, well, at least Cody likes Freddy's Dead. So.
I know.
So, Lindsay, I want to know about like your background in horror. And I think one of the topics we're going to talk about is it seems like there's more male horror fans than female. I think that's a fair assessment. So we're kind of going to dig into that a little bit, and I think a good place to start is with Lindsay. What got you into horror from the time you were born? Like, tell me about that.
My mom, 100%.
Awesome.
Like big horror fan. At this point now, I've far surpassed her. But she used to always just regularly have horror movies on when I was growing up. She always tells stories that she would get up in the middle of the night when I'd wake up, like as a baby for nursing, and she would put on Night of the Living Dead and have that playing while she'd be up throughout the middle of the night. So yeah, it was always on when I was growing up. So I never thought that it was out of the norm.
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of normal. And yeah, like other kids would be watching, like, well, granted, I still watch Transformers and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, but like other girls my age were watching like My Little Pony, but I was watching like Jaws and Friday the 13th and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, did you have a lot of friends that were into horror movies, or was that kind of a battle for you growing up?
Yeah. I had one friend, always, just one friend. No, I had one friend growing up that was into horror, like me. But she's since kind of grown out of it a lot.
Yeah.
But she was the one that I watched all of the consecutive Halloween movies with. That's where we came up with the Michael Myers with a British accent.
Yeah.
It was with her. And my sister, I guess. But now, since having kids, she's scared of everything. So she won't watch a lot of horror movies anymore.
Yeah, it is kind of strange how, like, and I guess guys do this too, but I have seen some people where they'll be into horror for like a limited amount of time, and then it'll just be like, it'll just fade out, you know, and then they'll just stop being into horror. Whereas I've never been like that. I've always been, you know, I'll die a horror addict. That's just the way I am. It's strange. I think, like, I actually work with somebody who I feel like she's dating somebody else now that's not a horror fan, so now she's not a horror fan. It's weird.
Oh.
So,
well, I go through phases. Like, there are times where I'm just like, okay, I'm like a little horrored out right now, and I want to watch stupid, ridiculous comedy like White Chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no excuse for that.
I thought you said you stopped watching horror.
Yeah.
Hold my poodle, Brian. Hold my poodle, Brian.
What about you guys? Like, Brian, have you always been a horror fan, or has it? You know, do you go through hills and valleys?
I definitely go through hills and valleys. I can't, like, I could never do a channel that is just devoted to one genre, because I'd go insane. I have to have, like I have, phases, like you say. Like horror, I kind of, there were a few seminal films as I was growing up from around the age of 7 that kind of stuck with me. I wouldn't have kind of said I was a horror fan at that point, but they made an impression on me. And then it was in '96 when first Scream came out. I saw that, and that was the first film I ever went to the cinema more than once to see. I went 3 times, watched it in cinema, and it just blew me away at the time and kind of turned me into a horror fan. And then I was like really into horror for like a good 4 or 5 years, and then that's when I got horrored out. I got that kind of sense that, like you just talked about, where I got horrored out, and I was just like, I kind of wasn't a horror fan anymore. And then it's since getting into YouTube, making friends with people who are majorly into the like horror stuff, I've kind of become part of that community, and it just reignited that passion, I guess.
Yeah, you know, you did kind of touch on something there, because you do have these like these horror milestones like Scream, like, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, that kind of reignite that interest. Even if you're like, you know, a dyed-in-the-wool horror fan, I think you still have certain, like, you do get tired of the same old Halloween movie, the same, you know, the sequels that just keep being repetitive and doing the same thing. So I think that does happen. Like, It Follows was a great example. When It Follows came out, I was like, oh wow, this is great. It kind of did for me what Hereditary just did for me recently. You know, Hereditary was like, wow, this isn't for everybody, but it's a real kick in the nuts as far as, like, you know, horror goes. And I think horror needs that sometimes. Sometimes it needs to push the envelope. Lindsay, have you seen? Because I know you don't get to see that much. Have you seen Hereditary?
No.
You need to watch that. That's
I know.
really good.
And now I'm having a complete brain fart. I can't even remember her name.
Toni Collette.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, usually I love pretty much anything that she's in. I don't think that she can really do a whole lot wrong. Like, she's always, like, she's just captivating.
Yeah.
Like, even that In Her Shoes movie, her and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
I loved her in that movie. She was, phenomenal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I haven't gotten around to seeing that, or like Strangers Pray at Night. John purchased that movie for me. And I still haven't watched it. There's so many, and they're just piling up. But like, when you wake up and you're like, okay, like, Tommy wants to watch something on the TV, and like, what do you want to watch? And you're like, do you want to watch this? Mm-mm. Do you want to watch Choo-choos. Yeah.
Choo-choo.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
No.
We got
All
a
day,
super
every
chat
day.
here. Power Up Productions. Thank you, good sir. I appreciate that. I would just like to say that you can't root for the guy if he's fucking cute.
Fucking kid. That is a
Please
T-shirt.
make that into a shirt. Well, yeah, exactly.
That's
Your
what
wishes
Cody,
have been
yeah.
granted. Go over
Yeah.
to Spreadshirt and find my store, and it should be there if they didn't take the fucking thing down, which they're famous for.
That's a good
Ugh.
segue into Cody, because I was going to ask Cody, like, do you? No, I wasn't going to ask him that.
Speaking of fucking kids, Cody.
No, I was going to ask you,
Awkward.
like, Cody, do you like go through hills and valleys with horror? Like, sometimes you're in the mood for really, I guess, cerebral type of horror, and then other times you're just like, I just want a slasher movie or something like that. Or, you know.
Yes and no. I mean, slashers are kind of the go-to. Like, if I just kind of want, like, that's like kind of the relaxing ones. As funny as that sounds, like I just want to chill out and watch something. Let's throw on a, Halloween or something like that. But yeah, when it comes to like the more smarter horror movies, I guess, quote unquote, those are the ones that I usually try to wait and I'll watch those with Holly whenever she's home, because she tends to be into that a little bit more than some of the older slashers and stuff like that.
I want to jump over into, I guess, life as a YouTuber. This is a good topic for Lindsay, I think. As far as like, now, I guess, take me to the beginning, Lindsay. What made you want to get in front of the camera and start talking about movies?
I was a big fan of horror too, by the way. Just.
Oh, I think he's fine down there. Isn't that enough?
It's fine. I'm fine. He's fine.
Okay, hold on. CP.
No.
your
It's
experience.
really. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'd rather read the joke. It's good. Go ahead, go.
I love you. I know I love you.
I love you too, sir. Lindsay,
go
YouTube.
go
Being a
ahead,
YouTube.
Lindsay.
Daddy just hit mommy at the dinner table.
Nobody make eye contact.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Lindsay, being a YouTuber, right? Is that what you were going to say?
What made you want to get in front of the camera?
Well, I mean, CP would already know this because I think he asked this when he interviewed me, like
3 hours
years
worth,
ago.
motherfucker.
Yeah. But so obviously Lee, you did not watch that video. But I
should've
had
done my homework.
another channel previously where I focused a lot on like makeup and beauty and all of that kind of stuff. And I watched a lot of horror channels and I was always interested in it, and I created like a YouTube page for horror, and it sat there for about 2 years and I never did anything. And it was actually Mike from We Watched a Movie that was like, hey, will you film a review for us for our channel? And I was like, actually, I've been thinking about doing something like that. He was like, no, you really should. And he was the one that gave me the push to start. So
I remember seeing that video, actually. It was
Oh,
like
the
she
Black
watched a
Christmas
movie.
one?
Wasn't it about Black Christmas or something like that?
yeah,
See? I did my homework. There you go.
you researched this morning, didn't you?
No. I actually saw that video quite a while ago, actually.
You fucker.
Fucker. So, as far as like being a female YouTuber, do you feel like there's any kind of struggles that you have to deal with being a female YouTuber? Or is it something that you just never think about?
Yes and no. Like, I try not to think about it, but like when you go to film a video, like, I don't know, like for guys, like you get up, you shower, and you can film a video. Where for like a girl, it's like, well,
What's the
never
shower
know.
thing you speak of?
But, well, Italian shower. But for a girl, it's like you get up and then you shower and then, okay, you have to do your hair. Like most girls, like with makeup and that sort of thing. And it's like, because normally I'm all made up, then if I do a video where I don't spend that time getting ready, then somebody's like, are you feeling okay? Like, are you sick? Like, oh, I hope you feel better. And I'm like, sweet. So without all of that, I look like I'm dying. Thank you. And sometimes like you have the time available. Like there's been some mornings where Tommy's been like at a sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's, and I'm like, I'm going to film tomorrow morning. I'm going to do it. And then I wake up and I'm like, I don't have the energy to get ready to film a video. But I feel like there's an expectation for us to look like quote unquote presentable and pretty. And I don't know if that's just me and like my own insecurities, and it's probably a little bit of both. But that's a big thing. And then on top of that, then there's all of the really awesome inappropriate comments.
Hey,
that's what I was trying to get to. Like,
I was gonna do it if you weren't.
I mean, we get troll comments, us guys, but I can't imagine what some female, especially like, and I don't want to sound horrible, but like really attractive females, must get a lot of comments like that. You know, inappropriate types of comments, and
we need to get a really attractive female in here and hear her perspective on it.
I mean, I guess from a guy's perspective, like CP, is this something that you notice, you know, as being a male YouTuber, do you notice a difference when you look at female YouTube channels? I mean, we're friends with a lot of female YouTubers, so.
Dude, I have a front row seat to strange fuckers that, like, I thought I understood, like, it's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Lindsay, but it's a different type of troll. It's like us men, we get trolled. People tell you to, you know, go fuck yourself, quit your channel, whatever.
Yeah. Or your stupid opinion or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Where women, it's more based on, again, mostly it seems based on looks or sex appeal or lack thereof or something like that. And sometimes there's just like I can't tell you how, like in the last 3 months I've witnessed firsthand, not on my channel, mind you, just really weird comments that, like, I don't know, I don't know what the end goal is. As somebody who met somebody online and did the thing that people are trying to do with their ridiculous comments, like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, oh, nice tits, I'd like to fuck them. Like, does that work ever? Like
exactly.
Ever? Like, oh my God, give me your email address, let's hook up. Like, it's just really. Lindsay, please take over.
Yeah, no.
Am I right?
Save this at any time.
I've had one, and it always sticks to the top of my mind, but I had a guy essentially say that he wanted to climb inside of my snatch.
Oh yeah.
And my response to him, I was like, that sounds incredibly painful. I'm going to climb.
You must be a small man.
It's like that's really going to win you over, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
It's just, the thing is, when you look at, you know, the big panel shows, the ones that you know, like AMC movie, well, it's not called AMC Movie Talk now, is it? But you know, shows like that, I think they're partly to blame in some ways, not, or maybe they're just part of the problem, which is that, and I don't take anything away from the women who end up on those shows, but not a single one of them is unattractive. And yet all the guys that are on them shows, it doesn't matter what they look like. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a guy can go on a panel show, or he can go on he can create a channel, and people come to that to hear that guy's opinion on film. And like a woman, in effect, has to have more than that. It's not good enough that she has an opinion to voice on the film. She also has to look good. She has to look sexy for it. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, someone can, you can go on a movie chat show and look like John Schnepp, and everyone loves you. You know, if a woman went on a chat show like that looking like John Schnepp, it'd be like, whoa, dog ugly. You know, she just get comments all the time about her looks. Like, one of the things I respect actually about Emily is that she goes some way to making herself look ugly in her videos, because she, you know, she's never kind of pandered to that audience. She never has, you know, you never see her with a thumbnail in which her boobs are pushed up with a, you know,
not yet at least. I keep trying.
Hey,
I'm like, it's just like, click, you need the clicks.
But the thing is, if she did that, she would double her audience tomorrow. Literally, if she put a video out tomorrow with that kind of thumbnail and making herself look like that throughout the video, she would double her figures within a week. No problem. You know what's
ironic too is that she probably spends the same amount of time or more getting ready for those videos with her makeup and all of that kind of stuff, getting into her characters. But it's not like the traditional, like, pretty sort of idea, right? But she puts so much work into it, but it's not appreciated because it's not like the cover of Maxim magazine.
Yeah, her two altars are like the opposite end of the spectrum. One looks like Samara from The Ring, and the other one's like with the fucking eye makeup. And you're just going way too far in either direction.
But that's what makes it so good.
I'm such a big
preaching to the choir, right?
I'm not saying this because I have to, but I'm a huge fan of her work. We should do it behind the scenes and just show her process because it's tiresome. It's just like
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's different types of subscribers on YouTube, and this is where I'm going to point towards Cody here. You have that person that leaves the really inappropriate comment to not just female YouTubers but males, and then he's gone. And then you have that guy who is the stalker. He's nice in his comments, but he leaves 1,000 comments, and then he contacts your Facebook DM, and then he contacts your Twitter. And
about the collector.
I wasn't saying names, but this is something that can be even scarier, I think. You know, when they don't, it's like they don't, there's something not registering upstairs and they don't take no for an answer. Cody, have you had...
I don't even think I know that person, by the way, so I feel a little left out.
I'm surprised.
Just feel lucky.
I'm really surprised. I'm not
blessed
say his name
at the moment.
out of respect, but there was an incident today that happened with a certain female YouTuber, and she, you could tell she was genuinely frightened about the whole situation.
Yeah, worked up, like really anxious, like. Know. Wait, let me kind of piggyback / intervene your question there to both Lindsay and Cody, because you guys don't make it too incredibly secretive about your kids and their names and your personal life. Does it make you a little reluctant knowing people like that exist and the lengths that they'll go to whatever?
Yeah, it makes you think twice. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Well, yes and no. Like, I was hesitant to, like, even like the very first time I introduced Tommy to everyone, but I was like, they know I'm having a kid, so whether they see him or not, if they're gonna find me, they're gonna find me and find him. Like, it's not seeing him that would probably encourage them to do that. But I don't know. On the same note, I take so much pity on the poor son of a bitch that comes to my house looking for any kind of trouble. Because I have literally, like, I grew up being like my mom's daughter who was taught if somebody pushes you, you punch back. But now I'm Mama Bear, and I have no problem like skinning somebody alive with my bare hands.
Well, that's good. That's a good approach to take instead of being the shrinking violet and being afraid for your life every. At least you're staying, and that's kind of what we're going to get into talking with horror, and also Jen Combs and Nightmare Maven. They brought up they're two people that deal with this too, and I'm sure there's a lot more in the chat that deal with this, and I think it's not an issue that's discussed in streams. At least I haven't seen that much, so I'm kind of glad that we're discussing it because it is a problem and it can get pretty scary. And I was going to ask Cody, have you dealt with any, because I know me and Cody have talked about we've had a couple Facebook commenters that they'll keep leaving us comments and we don't answer, but they just keep doing it over and over.
I just keep waiting. I don't know when you guys are going to get around to it.
I have had every end of the spectrum. I mean, I've had people that just leave the nasty comment and then I never hear from them again. I have people that they must subscribe to my channel so they can leave a nasty comment on every video of mine. I have people that are really nice. I have people that are like uncomfortably nice. I have people like you're just describing where I'll have like when I get a message from them, I have like 6 months of Facebook messages that I have not answered. And it's always like, it's either the same question over and over, or it's like they're having a conversation with themselves, like, "Hey man, what you think about the new Friday the 13th movie?" And then like 2 weeks go by, I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and I thought about this. What do you think? And then like 3 weeks go by. Hey, I saw that stream. It's just it's weird. You know what I mean? And Lee and I have a couple of them in common, but it's just some of them is just it makes you not want to respond because of the level of messages you get when you don't respond. But there's also some that are just they'll send really weird messages. Like me and Lee had a guy who literally asked us to send a picture of our Blu-ray collection like once a week for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And he would ask it in different ways.
That was kind of weird.
And, it's very uncomfortable. And to CP's question about my kids, Holly has actually brought that up more in like a worried tone than I have because I kind of Lindsay's about if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And the person that decides to cross that line is going to be an extreme example because you guys know how I handle people verbally. If they go that direction, just imagine physically.
How you handle somebody in a movie theater that's interrupting your experience.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, like, in adrenaline, you can't put into words what kind of adrenaline goes through your head and your body whenever, like, you feel like your kids are in danger. Like, you can't, unless you're a parent, you can't. Like, yes, I broke into my fucking house this weekend. There was 60 seconds of the biggest fear of my life when my dog locked me out of my house trying to close the door, and my 18-month-old was walking around with nobody else in the house, and I charged through my fucking garage door and broke the wood off the fucking frame. So I mean, it's
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, just put somebody in place at the door, and that's what would happen. But so yeah, it's scary because the YouTube comment section is the biggest kind of fisheye lens into the scum of humanity. Like, there's amazing people on YouTube, and the majority of people are awesome on YouTube, but everybody that is a complete shitbag, they show their true colors. Like, I've had somebody tell me that I should have aborted my daughter because of an opinion on a movie that I shared. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, and I've had people threaten my life. I've had people tell me they were going to shoot me. I've had people say all kind of stuff over opinions on a fucking film. Like, it's not like
it's a microcosm of the world. The loudest people are the most obnoxious, and people who just enjoy your content more often than not, they'll just enjoy your video and not say anything. Yeah. Whereas somebody who really likes it will tell you, and somebody who really hates it or has something.
It's like Fox News, isn't it? It's disproportionate to what's
state-run media is great over here, Brian. I don't know what you're talking.
My daughter has actually done like 2 videos with me. I'm sorry, Cody. I was gonna say my daughter's actually done 2 videos with me, and I've gotten some comments that I can't even I don't want to repeat, and I deleted them immediately. But that's the kind of stuff you get. It makes me never want to have my daughter in a video with me again.
And it's funny because you know what? I can read the nastiest thing in the world about me and not give a second's worth of a fuck. Yeah. But like, as soon as like there was a comment about Holly or one of the kids or anything like that, it's a total different world. And just like you said, you almost have to delete it just to kind of remove it from existence.
Oh yeah, I was hot for a good couple days after. It's like every time I get one of those comments, and it doesn't happen that often, but. You know, I have to calm myself down for at least a couple of days because what do you do too? I mean, you can't find the person. Yeah. You know, because I want to freaking strangle the person, but I can't.
Oh yeah.
So. I want to talk about something that Nightmare Maven brought up about 5 or 6 minutes ago in the chat section, because this was something that I forgot who it might have been Emma from Spooky Ashman. We talked about this. She says, "I don't understand why comments about my looks nice or not. I'm talking horror, not makeup." And that is weird. Like, why? Perhaps Lindsay, why do you think that looks have to be brought up at all?
It's it's just society standards. Like, you look at a guy and you're not looking at his skin or if his skin looks clear or blotchy or anything like that. When you look at a woman, you're paying attention to those things, like, oh, like she doesn't have that great of skin, or oh, maybe she should cover that up, because it's almost like it's expected.
Yeah.
And especially it sucks because in my profession, that's what I do professionally. I do makeup, and I don't like, one of the most important things that I try to teach people with doing makeup is that you're not covering up yourself, you're not making yourself somebody else, you're accentuating like your natural features, who you are. You're just cleaning up those lines. Like, but essentially, it would be wonderful to live in a world where people don't expect women to look flawless all the time, but unfortunately that's kind of where we are, and that's what people expect to see on YouTube.
I think a lot of it too is they know the easy target for everybody. Like when you go to a guy, when somebody just wants to put something that they think is going to affect a guy, what do they say? You're an idiot. Fuck you. Delete your channel. You're fat. You're ugly. Like, you know, I mean, you know, they say something that's it's like on the surface, and then whenever you go to a female's channel, obviously they think that the easiest way to either say something really positive or really negative is to immediately go for looks. So it's just kind of the same scum of the earth kind of approach. It's just like it's different targets.
What's weird is I think
attitudes towards sex in general are to blame. You know, when you look at the sexes, when you look at the way they're represented on TV all the time, in the media, in every kind of facet of life, it's just like I think women are taught, and this is a bit of a blanket statement, so don't read too much into this, but I think women are taught from a societal level to give sex in order to get love, and men are taught from a very young age to give love in order to get sex. And
that was
deep.
Yeah, some Mark Twain type shit.
But that's t-shirt.
But I just think that, you know, we live in a world that's full of bad fathers. We live in a world that is just like men's attitudes towards women are shaped by their fathers' attitudes towards women, and until you break that cycle that has been going on for years, this idea that the first and foremost, there's something with breasts. Oh, look, it happens to have a personality as well. It's just until you break that cycle of the way we think about women, then you're always going to have a Harvey Weinstein culture in which nothing changes. So, you know, that like we've had a lot of that coming out this year because of all that stuff, and hopefully that might lead to change. But when you look at YouTube comment section, it's hard to believe that there ever will be that kind of change. But
well, there's a comment here in the chat from Alana Pullen. She said, I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but basically she's afraid of being criticized. And I would say to somebody like that, don't let that stop you from I mean, I was afraid of being criticized when I started, and the thing that I noticed, which I never would have predicted, was that there is this great community, and that the trolls make up such a small percentage that it really doesn't even matter if you're just honest with yourself and you just keep practicing and getting better. I don't think something like trolls should make you just not give up and not do it if you really want to do it. I mean, would you guys agree with that?
I would say yes, but I would also say if you know yourself well enough and you know that it's really going to get to you, then it might be a smart decision not to, because I know it doesn't matter how great your channel is, it doesn't matter what your opinion is, it doesn't matter if you do everything right or everything wrong, trolls will come eventually. It doesn't matter if you have 100 subs or 20,000. So if you're somebody that you know for a fact one comment is going to like mentally fuck with you for a month, then it's probably a better idea not to. But if it's just for the sake of, like, if you know you can grow a thick skin, it's just the initial little bump to get over, then by no means do not let other people get in the way of you doing either something that you really want to do or a hobby or whatever. Just know who you are.
Yeah, there was this one
kid.
Sorry. Go ahead, Lindsay.
So hard because I can't even see you, Lee, so I can't see your mouth opening like you're ready to talk.
Damn it.
Just for the person that was interested in starting a channel, I'm not sure if you were a female or not, but if you are, and that's the type of thing that you're concerned about, there have been a good number of trolling kind of comments. Most of them I can just kind of like brush off, but there have been a few that like they make your skin hot. You're so pissed off about it. The most important thing is to have connections and people in the community that you can talk to and reach out to. Like, there's been times where like certain comments that really get me pissed off, and I've like posted them on Killer Flicks or something like that, and just we all kind of get together and we just rant about it, and it's like a relief from that. Or you could, like, I had at one point somebody was going around and leaving horrible comments on my page and like Susan's page and Vanessa's page and like all of my girls, and was being just absolutely horrible, and I put them on blast all over everything. And then they closed down their page and their channel.
Yeah, I pin my troll comments actually.
Yeah, there's ways to deal with it that's kind of therapeutic, but just make sure that if you're going to jump that into that world, that make sure that you have some support behind you, which the support community is generally pretty.
You've got to have a particular mindset as well with regards to it, because you've got to realize the place where these people are coming from. Like when somebody leaves, like these people are trolls. I know we ban that word around a lot, but there's a reason for it. The reason is these people don't genuinely believe this stuff they are leaving on your channel. They don't believe these comments themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, it's projection.
They're trying to get a reaction out of you, and it's like once you come to it with that mindset and you realize, well, actually, if this is hitting me in a personal level, it's just like that was the intent. The intention was to get a rise out of me, but the comment itself, there's no truth in it. There's no real truth in it, and that's like when I first started getting comments like that, I would get into big battles. I'd fire stuff back, and it'd become a long running argument. And it got to the point where I realized there is nothing at all that I can ever say that is going to stop this person from coming back with another comment and then another comment and then because that is what they're after. So I took the complete opposite approach since I realized that. And when a comment like that happens, I just don't respond. I don't give it the time of day. It's like water off a duck's back. And they just it's the biggest way of disarming them, because where do you go from there when somebody doesn't respond to your insult? You've got nowhere to go, and they just leave.
More times than not, they're hiding behind some sort of fake account. If you could click on their thing and see that they're an actual person that has videos of their own, then you can kind of get into some sort of debate or whatever. But usually, if they have some sort of fake blank wall account, it's just like, all right, you're just shooting off nonsense. And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that what they're just doing, they have problems with themselves. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
the mental term is projection.
Problem with them, it's not a problem with you.
Right?
And they're so
it's jealousy
starved
too
for attention that they're actually going to attack you at like the lowest common denominator. So
it's the easiest route to take, isn't it?
It is.
You can put a load of work in. You can try and develop skills. You can really think about how to deliver a succinct opinion that sounds like you know what you're talking about. You can acquire the skills to do camera work and all that lot, and engage with the community at the highest level possible. Or sod that's too hard. Instead, I'm just going to go around and rile as many people up as possible and be noticed because I want the world to notice me. Well, okay, you do that.
Speaking of which, my next roast will be out next month.
That's a good segue.
Sorry.
I was going to say a good segue into we're going to be talking about women's horror, but the last thing I'll say about that is Killer Flicks has been really great with that sort of thing, and we even have a policy. We do free for all Fridays, but if you are having trouble in life, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. And Dylan kind of started this whole thing. You can if you're having trouble, you can post any day, anytime, and you will have literally probably 100 people that'll comment and say, "Hey, we got your back." That's what's great about Killer Flicks. So anyway, now we're going to jump into women's horror. Lindsay, I got a good question for you. Why do you think women are important in horror movies?
Wait, that you totally glitched out there. Meth?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What about meth? You like meth and horror?
I love meth and horror.
Yes. No, I was going to say, why do you think women are important in horror movies? And do you think they're more important now than they were, say, 30 years ago?
maybe not 30 years ago, but like 50, 60 years ago, they're definitely more important than then. But like 30 years ago was when the final girl was really coming into play. Like it became a thing. It became a phrase.
She gives me trouble with my mic.
Hey, we're good. I fixed it quickly.
Good. Oh, touche.
So,
took me 2 hours.
But I think women are important in horror because, like the final girl, just in general, we need the final girls to have a successful horror movie, to have the most of the time happy ending where the regular person prevails and the bad guy loses. But guys can't necessarily always be that guy, because like that person, and fill that role, because guys, and this isn't always true, like I love Tom Matthews, sorry CP, I love him, and he's maybe an exception to the rule, but guys act very impulsively, and when they act, most of those actions are because they want to help and kind of like save the day, be the hero. And those are normally what get people killed. Where women, they're very calculated in their thoughts, but they act on instinct. And listen, I think that's why
Matthews tried to destroy him, but he fucked up.
But they normally make it further, and we are seen as like the weaker sex. So if the weakest one can survive, then like that's who everybody wants to root for, right? Like,
yeah.
Isn't that mostly in the slasher genre though, Lindsay?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
But the final girl is the slasher genre. You don't have to worry about like the final girl in the Pelican Breed.
Yeah. I think that's why we get so excited when we have the girl as the actual killer. Like, I don't know, I always enjoyed that nice twist. Like, spoilers, anybody, but I'm sure you've seen Urban Legend. It's a 20-year-old movie.
Oh, good point.
Or is it 20?
I saw that on my 14th birthday.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, Urban Legends is a good one. And I did not call that it was a female. You guys might have, but I didn't call that when I was watching it. And that made the movie better for me. You know, because if it would have just been just some old guy, then that kind of fits in with everything else. But because it was a female, and that's something we never see, I don't know, I just loved that about it. And I'm trying to like put my finger, what is it that I loved so much about the female being the killer? You know? Go ahead.
Oh no, I like when the final girl is not the one that you expected the final girl to be.
Yeah.
I kind of like when she's like the slutty badmouth kind of one. Like the first one that obviously comes to mind is like Zombievers. But
God.
I don't know if I want to get like spoilers with Zombievers, because not everybody's seen it, but the end of that film also kind of kicks you in the teeth. Like, not only is it the slutty girl, but then the end happens, and I love stuff like that, like taking people out of the norm, what they're used to, what they expect.
Yeah. Well, the first Alien's kind of like that, right? Like, I mean, at least for me, when I first saw the first Alien, I didn't think that Ripley was going to be the final person at the end of it.
No.
They kind of play her low-key at the beginning of that movie.
Mm-hmm. You think that Dallas would be like the final person?
Yeah, exactly.
Not the final girl, but the final person. And, well, seriously, if you haven't seen Alien, then get the fuck out of here. But and then what happens to him? Like, I just remember being gobsmacked. Like, what is happening here? Because around like when I watched that, like what was it? Was it like Picket Fences was on, and he was on that show? So like I resonated with him the most because he was the one that I recognized the most.
Okay.
Are you guys well versed? What?
I was going to say, CP, let's get controversial. Okay, Tiffany K, she mentioned Strangers Pray at Night. I was waiting for that to pop up.
Oh, boy.
CP's favorite.
Is Tiffany okay with me being here, though? Because earlier she was saying that it was incredibly boring because Wham isn't here.
Yeah, I noticed that, too. And I'm trying to keep Tiffany interested, you know?
It's cool, Tiffany. I'm not going to take it personally.
It's cool. We're going to try to keep
Just imagine me and Brian.
But she did mention Strangers Pray at Night, and I will say, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I think Billy Madison was one of my favorite final girls of the
I haven't even watched it, dude. Now I know who survives.
God damn it.
Ruiner.
I'm really surprised.
Damien Maffei could be the greatest silent killer in the history of horror.
What?
Much loved killer flicks.
Yeah, it's his birthday too.
Man,
today.
happy birthday, buddy!
Happy birthday, Damien.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. He is the sackhead killer in The Strangers.
Man, this movie sucks. Oh, the person's in Killer Flicks. Greatest movie ever. Greatest movie ever.
Hey, ice cream truck.
Oh.
Don't make the same mistake twice.
Oh God!
Stand by it. I stand
Women
by
in
it.
horror.
Oh, women.
And I've watched
That cemetery was directed by a woman.
Have
Brian,
you guys seen
Brian, give
All
me
the
an
Boys?
example of a movie with a strong female. Could be The Final Girl. Could be anything that you like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I brought a list because, like, you know me, I do like to do my due diligence before we go on. I've created 2 lists. I created a female horror directors list, so I've got my top 5
shit.
there.
Oh, here we go.
And I've come up with a list of
Megan
movies.
Johnson.
Yeah, you won't find her on there. I've got another list with just really great films that are good because of a central female performance. And I was going to mention this one actually and then I saw that Monty G mentioned it in the comments. All the Boys Love Mandy Lane is a pretty good example, I think, because the main character in that is one that you expect to be the final girl, but actually turns out to be the killer. Spoiler alert. So
Jesus.
but yeah, that's a really good one. Because that does both. You know, it does both. She's kind of the final girl and the killer. So
Yeah, that was a unique twist, actually. I haven't seen that one in ages, but I remember that twist.
Are you guys well versed in the French movement with horror?
Some,
Yeah.
like High Tension.
Inside.
Martyrs, like
Yep.
they seem to be doing both ends of the spectrum there, where they're exploiting females, and the females are also the hero.
It's more of a sexualized culture, though, right? Than America.
Yes.
More.
Yeah, they're a little bit more
free-spirited.
liberal. Yeah, they gave us a Statue of Liberty, and they said, "Here, watch what we're going to do."
Like if you watch European MTV, there's nudity on there. You know.
Yeah, Raw. I think that's French/Belgium.
I love Raw. What a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Inside, I haven't seen it. I've read the synopsis too, and it's basically a movie about pregnancy, right? Inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the
Don't
Blu-ray,
you're
but it's an
picking
English
it.
dub, and I don't like English dubs, so I'm kind of in a pickle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cody,
Sorry.
give an example of a strong female-driven movie that you like.
Well, I mean, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is pretty much all female-driven for the most part, because every single main character in all those movies is a woman. You got Nancy in 3 of them, and you had to a much lesser degree as far as a strong character, but you had Alice in 2 of them. Most of the Friday the 13th movie. I mean, slashers in general are usually kind of. I would say Friday the 13th is less female-driven. It just ends up. It just the stereotype of a final girl is very prominent in that one.
No, it's female something.
Yeah, for sure. You get. Even though I don't like what they did in the follow-up movie, I thought that Fiona Dorff was a really good kind of female drive in Curse of Chucky.
Yep.
She was really good in that one. It Follows, you guys mentioned that one. That's a good one. The Babadook, obviously, that's a really female-driven movie because the whole subtext of the movie and the theme they're going for is about, the mother's kind of obligatory love for her child and everything like that, and grief and all that good stuff. So yeah, there's quite a few, and they Lindsay hinted at it, but a lot of times I think it works really well because, especially in slashers, when you have something like Jason Voorhees, this huge, unstoppable, hulking presence, and they try to go for kind of the maybe stereotypically, but they kind of try to go to the opposite end of the spectrum for the hero of, well, we fight this brooding, hulking person with, a final girl. And it just kind of always ends up being this cool, extra victory whenever they finally prevail over this unstoppable beast.
Yeah. Now let me ask you guys this: can you think of a movie where the final girl dies? I have one.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw, the beginning.
Yeah, that's a good one. So,
What'd you say, Lindy?
is it Splatter University? Yeah, Splatter University. You think for sure that she's going to make it to the end of the movie, and then it's funny how the scene just plays out so like nonchalant. Like the killer just walks up into a hotel. I mean, into an elevator and just stabs her, and then the credits start rolling. It's just like what?
Is it cliche to say Psycho?
No, that was Splatter University.
Is it cliche to say Psycho? And yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it is. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. Fuck you guys. I'll see you later.
I'll go with Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
nice.
I don't remember anything.
I already said Zombievers, so that one's just the first one that
Courtney
like
Palm.
on
I've
the
actually
tip of
spoken
my
to Courtney
tongue.
Palm a couple times.
I love Courtney. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely love her. Such a sweet, sweet person, and like just genuinely nice to her fans. Like
Is she
follows
a
me
killer
on
flicks? I'm just making sure
Instagram
that
and
this is genuine shit you're saying.
what?
I said, is she in killer flicks? I'm just making sure these are genuine things that are coming from you right now. Sorry.
Now,
Can you
somebody
really
mentioned
mean to her, though?
somebody
Jane
mentioned
Levy.
Devil's Rejects, and Baby is a great example of like I like a female that's crazy and she's completely nuts.
Mm.
Hot chicken.
Next.
Well, I
Next.
mean,
Yeah,
Friday
next.
the 13th remake, you thought that Danielle Panabaker was
Yeah.
going to be the
That's a great example. Cody,
People
was
always
the
bring that up as a
Friday
negative. I thought that was a really good move, but go ahead.
I think that that's like a really good move because, like, I love Danielle Panabaker, so I was expecting that. So it was that kind of like one of the only things that wasn't predictable in that movie. I didn't see that part coming.
It's
Everything else
interesting
was
though, because
pretty
like
predictable.
the character Whitney who lasted throughout the movie, I don't know. It's just I guess it's a hard thing to pin down, but like she doesn't stand out to me as a great final girl. Like she's forgettable,
No.
and it's a
I
hard
can't
really
thing
matter.
to understand.
Right now.
You know, it's weird.
Why did you say that like that?
Sorry.
Why did you Ted Levine on us?
Yeah, I know. No. My
Can I
point
just
was,
like
I guess
because I just met
go ahead, Brian.
I just wanted to mention one of my favourite, I don't know, female horror characters, I guess, and she is actually a little girl, although quite old, and that's the girl from Let the Right One In. Is a vampire, but without going into it, may not actually be a girl. If you've seen the film, you'll know what I mean. But
Which film are you talking about?
Wait,
I saw that me in, so I'm really confused.
do you not know what I'm getting at?
No.
So you know the girl in Let the Right One In isn't a girl.
you think of Sleepaway Camp?
No, I'm talking about Let the Right One In. Have you seen Let the Right One In?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the Swedish version, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original. Let
did you
Me
see-
In is the remake.
Yeah. You know there is a scene in that you may have missed, judging from the look on your faces, where the kid, the guy, the boy, looks through the door and looks down. He sees her naked, and there's a scar where there was once a penis, suggesting that it's not actually a girl, it's a boy.
How did I forget that? And that's like one of my favorite.
Yeah, he or it presents itself as, going back to our discussion earlier about men and women, he has presented himself as a she because it makes it easier for it to get someone in its thrall. So
I'm gonna have to watch that one then, because they totally chopped that off for the Let Me In.
No pun intended.
So it's
exactly. It's there. It's there in Let the Right One In. Believe me. But yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah, I prefer Let the Right One In, but Let Me In's a good. I think it's a good remake.
I like how the chat is like a golden retriever with a tennis ball. Out of context, out of context, I mentioned sleepaway camp, and there's like 5 comments. Sleepaway camp, sleepaway camp.
That doesn't have a female in it. A strong female.
Yeah, there's a final girl for you.
That's Twigs and Berries. Oh goodness. Do you guys want? Let's see. What do we got next on the agenda here? Let's see. We talked about badass women, kind of, I guess, in horror films.
Juno.
Go ahead.
No, badass women. Juno.
Oh yeah, and The Descent.
She's everything. I love
her.
She's a horrible, horrible friend, but she's badass.
Oh yeah, she is badass. But that's one thing I liked about it. Like, even though she did, she made a mistake, I don't see her as a bad person. Like I see.
I don't want to, but like as me, like if it were like my friend, yeah, I would hate her. But I also want to put myself in her shoes and be like, she lost him too.
Yeah.
And she's also grieving. Everybody's there for. Is it Sarah? Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
But nobody's holding her and like helping her grieve her loss of somebody that she loved, obviously. And I don't know. I think she needed that whole excursion as much as Sarah did.
The Descent is such a great movie. It really, and it's one of the. I love a good horror movie that leaves a discussion at the end of it, like because we're talking about Juno and whether she's a good person or not. To me, those are like the best horror, and it's so emotional. Like when Sarah makes it out at the end, I almost cry every time. It's just beautiful.
Everybody freaks out over the sequel, and I love the sequel. But
shut up! You have a sequel?
Well, for everyone who hasn't been there, we get her back for a while. That's fucking great.
You got to admit, though, that sequel had some problems, right?
So there you go, person in the chat that was worried that Cody wasn't swearing. I got you.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Fuck. All right, I'm back
there
up.
It is.
It's like a power bar.
Level up.
Level up. Cody's learned the power of self-respect.
No unhealth.
Fucking Mario.
But what about Toni Collette in Hereditary?
I can't talk about it.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Because I suck. And
yeah, I don't want to spoil it for Lindsay, but I will say there's a scene in there of like grief that is like, there's a lot of movies that deal with grief.
Table scene?
I think Hereditary does it best. Like it's
shocking. There's also a part of me that's concerned to watch it because it does deal with a lot of like mental issues and grief and like psychosis. I'm assuming
there will be a piece of you on the floor after the movie. That's pretty much what Hereditary. Like
I've avoided that one, and Before I Wake, I cannot watch Before I Wake. I heard Horror Guru do a little like mini synopsis about the film, and I was like, so this is something that I can never ever watch.
Yeah.
Ever. Like they lose their child. And I remember when I was pregnant, I watched The Other Side of the Door.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one with Laurie from The Walking Dead? Oh my gosh. Like it's not a spoiler for the film. I mean, that her son
Cemetery
dies.
has, with Pet Cemetery when Gage dies at the beginning. Oh my god, that just floored me. That's
sad, but this Other Side of the Door, like she's holding on to her child, and they're begging to be saved.
A fucking 18-wheeler takes out a 3-year-old. What do you mean, sad butt?
Well, Other Side of the Door is holding her child. Fine. They're stuck in the car seat. The car is sinking into the water, and the child's crying.
Oh,
Mommy,
God.
Get me out.
Yeah.
Mommy, get me out.
See, I felt like
and
that.
She can't get her son out of the car seat and has to leave him there.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it's not exactly the same, but I felt the same way at the end of Shutter Island when he's in the water.
Yeah. I think
that hit me hard.
I think depending on what kind of person you are, how things hit you. I think like some things are like a more psychological kind of take on things, whereas some are just like you literally see a kid get hit by a car, and that kind of affects people more. But I can see from both sides how.
It's amazing how much once you have your own kids, how much that's your perspective and your how you can absorb that kind of shit changes. Like Pet Sematary is one of my favorite films of all time. It's my favorite Stephen King movie. That movie is harder to watch now than it ever was
Yeah.
growing up. And I know everything that's around every corner. I know every line. But whenever it gets to certain scenes, like the one that gets me is when he's holding his son's dead corpse
the
after he
cemetery?
digs him up. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
and like I made
He has to give him the syringe, and he says, "No fair," and he
Yeah.
like stumbles away, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I know
Like,
Lindsay's a fan of
Perfect
Bill
example.
Midkiff.
Perfect example of what Cody was talking about for me is actually the Lovely Bones, because when I first saw that film, I watched it before I had a family, and I thought it's okay, it looks nice, but it didn't kind of hit me. And then I watched it again a few years later, and by that point I had a wife and I had a child.
Yeah.
And I was so involved in Mark Wahlberg's character just as a father. Like I could so relate to him. And I think having a kid completely changed the way I related to particular characters in certain situations in movies.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things for me. Like I put a question of the day on Killer Flicks like this past weekend because I was just bored at home, and I watched this montage thing. It was like most gory scenes or most extreme scenes in horror. But anyway, it was like most brutal scenes in horror, and pretty much all of them I knew. Like it was the saw blade scene in High Tension and some other shit like that. And it got to this scene, which Lindsay said is from Feast 3, which I had never seen it, but this guy's running with an infant, like 6-7 months old, and there's monsters behind him, and he's running, and then it plays it slapstick. So I kept watching it because I thought it was going to change tune, but he looks at the kid and he goes, "Sorry, baby," and he throws the baby in the air. And it kind of slow motion, and it shows the baby like floating in the air, almost like a cartoon. And I was like, somebody's gonna grab it or something. Nope. The kid goes splat, and it shows blood, and the kid's sitting there screaming and crying, and a fucking like beast comes and takes it. And that shit had me nauseous for like an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the goriest scene. I've watched fucking Martyrs without blinking. I mean, I've seen everything. But you put an infant in peril like that and actually show it, fucked me up.
They do that in Rambo, the fourth Rambo. They throw a baby into the fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Do you guys want to talk about Jurassic World for a minute?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Hyperbole.
And we'll just talk about it for a brief minute because I know Mother. I don't think Lindsay even cares. Like Lindsay, do you want to watch the new Jurassic World?
I've already watched your review, and I've already watched Cody's review.
Okay.
So
Why watch reviews for a movie you haven't seen yet? That's what. Maybe I'm
not that worried about spoilers when it comes to that because I'm not there for the plot line.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I'm just there hoping that Chris Pratt's clothes get torn off.
Preach.
Oh my goodness.
Spoiler alert, they don't.
Yeah.
Damn it! Well, see, then I'm definitely not going to go see it.
There's a Wolf of Wall Street scene. That's the closest thing you're getting.
It's an interesting movie to discuss though because it's like there's people that like really love it, and then there's people that say like me and Cody that say it's like I have it like not my last movie of the year, but damn close. Like it's like next to last. Like Truth or Dare is worse to me, but I can think of like 5 things right off the bat that I hated about it. And
Did you like the third one though?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like
because I love the third one.
Yeah,
so.
I enjoy the third one.
It's watchable.
Oh, okay. So and you still don't like.
Oh,
okay.
I hate
that. Puts it in perspective.
When one character makes me angry as soon as he walks on the screen, that's a bad sign. And there's this character Franklin. Every time he opens his mouth, every time he does anything, I want to punch the screen.
Which one's Franklin?
That's the only movie that I've had that.
The scared intern guy.
Yeah,
the
IT
guy
about him being the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre because they were both named Franklin.
That's funny. His name's Franklin. But oh my god, this guy. I was just livid in the theater. I was like, oh my god, get this guy off the screen. I freaking hate him.
Yeah. And they keep putting him on the screen. Like you have one genuinely good character in the movie that's actually kind of intriguing, but she shares the screen with this guy the whole movie to the point where you can't even really enjoy what she brings because he fucks it up every time.
Yep.
So it's not good. It's it's not horrible.
Look,
It's terrible.
Horror. Yeah, it depends. It depends what you're going for. Because look, it seems like, and this might be a generalization, but it seems like from what I've gathered, you either belong to one camp or the other. You either wanted visual, like, okay, I just want to see some dinosaurs tear some shit up, and most of those people are like, hey, that was actually pretty good. Or you went for something more, and you walk out with me and Lee going, what the fuck? So it seems like it depends on what you were going for or what you wanted out of the movie. But it's just, to me, I watched it on the level of not expecting very much, because I didn't. I liked Jurassic World a lot, but the trailers did not sell me on this one at all. So I watched it. I just kind of watched it because it was new. I was like, okay, just we'll see what happens. And
this one didn't really have that big moment at the end like Jurassic World did that kind of saved the movie for me. Like
yeah,
this one, it just kind of petered out, and then I am interested in where they're going to go, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I am interested in where they're going to go for the next one. But it's like this whole movie was just setting up that, and
I don't see how they can go anywhere unless they have species interbreeding, because it's like there was one of every dinosaur. It's like, what are they going to do?
They're going to go find the Barbasol can.
Yeah, well, this is that's what I call a stepping stone movie. It's like they had an idea for where they wanted to go, so they had to make a movie to get there. And the concept of where they're going, and I'm not going to spoil it, is somewhat interesting.
Yes.
But the problem is the execution. As soon as you start to think about it at all, it falls apart at the seams. Because like you look at the ending of the movie and you're like, okay, clearly you're pushing it in this direction for 3, but that makes absolutely zero fucking sense for exactly what Brian just said, and for a bunch of other reasons. Like if you have any sort of realism whatsoever, it would never work out that way. It's hard to talk about it and not spoil it, but it's just like.
I'll add this that's not spoiler. I'm a character guy with movies, and if I don't have a character to latch onto, then I start getting angry. And this movie, I didn't really like any of the characters in it. Well, even Chris Pratt phoned it in. Like, you even have to admit, even if you like the movie, Chris Pratt did not give it his all. Like, I've never been a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard. So that's my problem with this new trilogy of Jurassic World. I just don't really care about the characters. But this movie had that problem, plus 4 other problems that I did not like about it. So that's my thing with it. I know some people liked it.
The opening scene was absolutely incredible. It really is a shame that they never met that. Yeah. Because it felt very Jurassic Park-y, like everything in the water. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Definitely.
The water was pretty good, the water part of it, but the thing that kind of ruined the opening scene for me, and this goes along with the other negative that I had with just really stupid characters and really like writing the characters to be stupid, is like you have this, okay, you're on this abandoned park or this island that's filled to the brim with monsters. And you're trying to do this thing, and you turn around, and you got 8 people going, ah, come on, and you're like, what? What are you talking about? What's going on? And like that whole thing, I was like, is this really the movie we're in for? Is this what we're doing?
Well, that's one of my problems with it as well, because I think it was the Franklin character who, it's when they're down in that tunnel, and the lava's coming through. And then they go up these stairs. She goes up first, then he starts going up. And then the stairs fall down. And then rather than just boosting your ass back up there from where you've just fallen, he holds on to them and then slowly looks around over his shoulder. And it's clearly done to create tension in us, the viewer. But it doesn't. Because I look at it thinking, well, now you're just trying to create tension, and you're doing it by making a character do something that no one in that situation would do. Yeah. They would be hauling ass, and it's full of moments like that.
Well, the 2 parts that cracked me the fuck up in the theater, because like for the most of the second act and most of the third act, all the dinosaurs are caged up. It's not really a spoiler, but like you know they're transporting these dinosaurs to some place you could see the story in the movie. I'm not going to go any farther than that. But there's a scene whenever, everybody's on this barge, they're leaving the island, all those dinosaurs are caged up, and you got our heroes in this fucking SUV, and they're charging down this pier, and they have the speed scene where they hit the end of the pier and the fucking thing goes upwards and gets onto this barge, and it's loud as fuck, like bam, like imagine just like a fucking SUV landed on a barge. and it's filled to the brim with these mercenaries, and nobody comes to check out what that noise was. Like, they come to the back and they're like, "Oh shit, look at that Brachiosaurus!" And then then you get the thing where they show the scene in the trailer where the T-Rex is caged up, and they got to do something with the T-Rex. Well, the T-Rex wakes up in this cage and starts unleashing hell and fucking roaring and scratching metal, and there's all kinds of shit going out. And these are our heroes trying to stay undetected when this is happening. And nobody comes to check out the noise. Even the guy that literally 30 seconds beforehand came to lock the door on the T-Rex cage, like, that's peculiar, it's open. And then he closes it, and then the fucking T-Rex unleashes hell, and nobody comes to find it. Like, nobody comes to look at it. And it's just, I saw it, and I'm like, God, this is stupid.
But I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but is that nitpicky, though?
It depends on your perspective, I guess.
No, I'm just asking a question because it just came to mind because I haven't seen the movie, but it reminded me of somebody else's post in Killer Flicks the other day when they were talking about Annie, where she goes to unlock the get in the car, and she's like, "Oh, I don't have the keys because the door's locked." And she goes back in the house and she gets the keys, and when she comes back out, the door's unlocked on the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the same thing, and like her go, "Oh wait, it's unlocked now. This is insane." And back away.
It's nitpicky, right? when you get a couple of moments like that in a film, and then somebody jumps on those moments in order to rip the film a new one.
Yeah.
But when the film is filled to the brim with those kind of moments, then it stops being nitpick and it's just bad writing.
I would say it's not good. I think I gave it best. I think I gave it 2 stars. And like, it's just not good. But I feel there's a certain point where there's piling on. Like, there's a climax towards the end where a large dinosaur comes out of nowhere, and people are like, how come nobody didn't hear it coming? And I always feel like commenting, did we forget Jurassic Park when the T-Rex came in and saved everybody out of nowhere? The fucking thing made water shake throughout the whole movie, but towards the end, suddenly he was peekaboo. Yeah, right. So it's just like you gotta right. You
could pick apart any movie if you get to that way, but it's very easy to go that direction when you're pissed at a movie because you're looking for more things to bash about it. But these things were like the more I thought about Fallen Kingdom, the more I disliked it. Like, I left the theater meh. I was like, what didn't really impress me. Might be my least favorite. I think I enjoyed 3 just a little bit more. And then by the time I got home, I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. No, wait, that scene is really stupid. How are they going to do that? Like, the more I thought about it, I was like, man, fuck this. No.
It's too
turn the camera on.
You see me do that in my... Like, I did a ranking video of the whole franchise, and you literally see me do that in the video because I put Jurassic Park 3 at the bottom, and then I got to Fallen Kingdom, I should say. Got to Fallen Kingdom, and as I'm talking about it, I dropped it. Because everything that was coming out of my mouth was just negative, and I didn't realise I felt that way until I was in front of the camera talking about it. So halfway through the video, I'm like, no, sod it, I'm dropping it. Jurassic Park 3 goes up a notch. Fallen Kingdom's at the bottom.
I prefer Part 3 to Part 2.
Wow.
Part 3 is more streamlined entertainment. Yeah. Part 2 is
Sam Neill is way up there. And I get pterodactyls for the very first time, which was always one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And Part 2, like, it was weird for me to see, damn it, my sister's in love with him too. Comedy guy.
Oh, Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn. It was weird for me seeing him in that role. I didn't buy him in that role. It was just kind of strange for me. And seeing Jeff Goldblum as a dad, I don't know. It took...
That's so weird.
As a younger person, I was like, I'm seeing you like less sexy right now because you're like the dad that's not around at all. So you're not attractive anymore, and that fucks up everything.
Yeah, and don't go see Fallen Kingdom for Jeff Goldblum, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah, I heard he's like barely.
You've seen the trailer, you've seen Jeff Goldblum.
He's got one scene, and they cut it in half, and they bookend the movie with it.
But I may be able to meet him at the end of August, beginning of September. So expect 8 months from then or so.
You want cool Jeff Goldblum? Go see Hotel Artemis. He's pretty badass in that movie. Again, not very much of him in that movie, but
I much prefer his random commercials. Those are the best.
He's a big reason why I loved The Lost World because he was great in that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's good.
He's fine.
He's fine.
the rest of the movie, like the daughter really annoyed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't as annoying
She
as
bothered
Franklin.
me.
No,
she was.
not even the same fucking ballpark.
Yeah.
The
What do
Lost
you,
World is one of them
How do you go wrong
films.
with Sam Neill?
I like
I
Sam
don't-
Neill.
The Lost World is one of them films where, when it first came out, because of my age, I enjoyed it immensely, just because it gave me what I wanted to see, which was dinosaurs tearing people up. But it's one of them movies that you watch as an adult, and you just think, that's stupid, that's stupid,
Yeah.
that's stupid, that's stupid,
Sure.
all the way through. So
Sure.
I saw a review. Somebody did a review on Fallen Kingdom, and they used footage from The Lost World for their trailer clips, and it all matched up. It was
It
great.
did. That was the other thing. Yeah, they borrowed shit. It was like cliff notes for some of the sequences in the other movies.
Just like
What did you guys?
go ahead.
What did you think about the Indoraptor, like the new mutant?
That was one thing I did
I
like.
thought it was
actually.
fascinating.
See, I didn't find it nearly as interesting as the last one, like the Indominus
Indominus
Rex,
Rex.
because that one to
Verizon
me,
presents. I'm sorry.
yeah, that one to me in Jurassic World, the Indominus Rex to me almost seemed like the sharks in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
It was like we created something that is way smarter than us, and it has all these scenes where like it figures out how to escape the cage and everything. Like that shit was cool to me. When you get to this one, it just feels like it was everything that was cool about that, but scaled way the fuck down, like size, like literally, and like
Well, I wanted it to be a
concept-wise.
bloodbath with the Indominus Rex, but
Yeah,
you
we
had
didn't
one
get hurt
scene and that
anything.
was it.
Well,
yeah.
here's I mean, they can go further with what they're doing next, and just imagine like a Godzilla, a King Kong, but like on a wider scale with whatever inbred dinosaur here. Like if they could have
What, are they
something
from
like
Alabama?
or a hybrid. Excuse me, I didn't mean inbred.
I can say that.
Yeah. But yeah, just imagine like, some super breed fucking T-Rex running down the streets of Manhattan like that. I don't know how you make it PG-13, but that could be neat if it's executed properly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Logically, I just can't get behind where they're going because the way that they decided to push it that direction just makes absolutely no sense to me. Like it
Sure.
would just. You have, again, I'm trying not to spoil it. They released what, 18 dinosaurs,
yeah,
and
But
we're
they still
supposed
have
to.
don't they still have
all
the
different. Like
the thingies?
Well, what I'm saying is that they're making it seem like, I'm trying to say as non-spoiler as possible. They're trying to make the fallout of that decision at the end way more devastating than it actually would be.
It just isn't. Because like, if those 18 dinosaurs were all of the same species, like they were all raptors, you now got 18 raptors loose who can breed with each other, then yeah, that's an issue. But when all 18 are different species, it's like it's just a case of rounding them up, shooting them and round them up. It's
The chat's
stupid.
talking about Halloween.
I was just gonna say the chat. They're like, "Fuck it, we got
You
this."
know me, chat. You
Halloween
know me.
5,
You know
Halloween
what you want.
H2O,
I love you,
Halloween
chat.
6. What the fuck, guys?
Halloween 6 is better than H2O. No, you guys get a pass for that, okay? I'm proud of you.
No,
No, it's
My
not.
chat.
it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Even look, as much as I love not to plug it, as much as I love Lee's cut of Halloween 6, which is honestly the best cut to watch because it's like the best of both worlds.
Thank you.
H2O gives me way more than the storyline or so-called storyline in H6. H6 has awesome style, really good kills, and a great Myers, but beyond that, yeah.
See, I can't separate Scream from H2O. That's the thing that annoys the shit out of me about it.
I still, man, I can't, everybody, and I won't say everybody, but I've never heard the Scream H2O comparison until I got into, like, killer flicks and everything, and I still don't see it. Like, I see the era, but I don't see Scream when I watch H2O.
Oh, they even mentioned it on the 25 Years of Terror doc that came out in 2003. They mentioned the Scream comparison.
That's because everyone else is mentioning.
That's because they're both
They
dimension.
literally
and-
use a music cue from Scream in the movie.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, it's dimension.
Speaking of nitpicks. No.
Women in horror, eh?
I know, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Halloween.
We got to Halloween. You left and we
Yeah.
started talking about Halloween. What's up, Dino?
Everything always resorts back to Halloween. Oh, Dino's
Well, the
here.
chat did.
Yeah,
The chat.
We were talking about Jurassic Park. The chat was like, "Fuck it, let's just start arguing about
on
Halloween."
Halloween. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I need my Halloween
5, 6, or H2O. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, Lee, get us back on track.
Okay, let's jump over to Killer Flicks questions. We'll close it off with that. And I was going through the Killer Flicks questions here, and we've already answered like most of them. Funny enough. So I don't want to repeat ourselves, but there is one question here I see from Holly Amber Leftley. Why are most women kills for revenge rather than the thrill? That is actually a pretty interesting question, because matter of fact, it makes me think of that movie Revenge that just came out, which was really good, actually. Lindsay, have you seen that one?
Revenge, I haven't, but I already have my answer.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's really good. It's called Revenge. So
Women,
you know that's the
women are motivated by emotion.
Yes.
Yeah, answer
Yes.
that for me,
Oh,
Lindsay.
with
why
most
do you
of
think that,
anything that we
revenge
do
is like-
during the day, every decision that we make is motivated essentially by emotions. When we're at work, we're motivated by emotions.
I was going to say women do get a little bit more emotional at work than men do. Like, I do see women get in fights.
What kind of emotions are we talking about here? Because
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I
Like,
used
on
to
an
get
island there, Lee. Go
my
ahead.
most
Get
common
yourself
emotion was
Yeah.
anger.
Let's see if I can dig myself out of this one.
That's the thing about equality, isn't it? It's like talking about the difference between men and women. The fact of the matter is there is a difference between men
penis
and
and
women.
vagina.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's genetic. That's emotional, psychological, whatever.
Position.
And it's like, I think sometimes when people talk about equality, they talk about it like they're trying to make men and women the same, and that's it's just not possible. So yeah, I do think
That's a fine line, though. Because I'm the furthest thing from a feminist at all. I'm really not. But I also do see some of that stuff with equality in the workplace, because I know two people that I've grown up with that both live in like the same province, both have the exact same job, both did the exact same schooling, and he gets paid almost twice as much as what she does.
Oh,
They have the same
believe that.
title.
yeah, but
everything.
like I'm not endorsing that in any shape.
Oh, no, I didn't
way,
say you
shape,
were.
or- Yeah, but it's just no, it's just I think we do have
But I
to
don't think
accept-
emotions have any, like, I don't know, deciding factor in whether or not you're capable to do a job.
No,
Like,
but
a lot of women are actually pretty good. I hear more guys when I used to work in an office. I heard more guys bitch about shit at work than I did ever hear about women bitch about stuff at work, because women would actually bring it home.
Yes,
and
they bottle
carry
it
that
up and they fucking
they
spew
carry
it out
it
to
with
her husband.
them, and then they vent at home. But guys just bullshit at work most of the day. But it's okay for guys to do it. But if a girl finally has enough and has her little breakdown, then it's not okay.
It's the exact opposite. Guys will bitch all day long at work, and it's kind of like it's almost like camaraderie. Like we just bitch together. Like, man, this is fucked up. Yeah, it's fucked up, and we just kind of we work through it, but we bitch the whole time. But we go home and we leave work at work. And women is the exact opposite.
And the wife
keep
bitches,
quiet.
"Shut up!"
They're the impulsive ones, or the implosive ones. They keep it all bottled up, and they get through their workday, and they come home and like, fuck, and they just come home.
I actually say that to my wife. I'm like, she's like, "How's your day at work?" And I'm like, "I don't want to talk about work.
Yes.
I'm done with
I have the same thing. She's like, you never talk to me about. I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about work. And she's like, oh well, today at work we had this. And this. She'll talk about it for an hour straight. And I tell her sometimes it'll be on the weekend. I'm like, stop talking about work. Like, you're off
I'm
today.
confused at this moment though, because John's the one that comes home and bitches about work, and I never talk about work.
Oh really?
Little role reversal.
Pants now,
Role
eh?
reversal.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, Chris,
How much drama
it's
can I
where
have?
he
I
says,
makeup and lashes.
his girlfriend, she's like, she's trying to destroy me, and he's like, you work at J.C. Penney. Nobody's trying to destroy you. Jesus. Okay, so that was that question.
Clamato everywhere.
Roz, she's not motivated by revenge or anything like that. That's a metaphor for addiction.
Who?
In Raw.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really. No. I didn't really get a revenge vibe from Raw.
What about Misery? What would you say she was motivated by? Just absolute lunacy?
Psychosis.
Yeah, she was freaking mental.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was an obsessed fan, which is kind of what we started off talking about.
Pamela Voorhees. What's that? That's fucking
Revenge.
Revenge. Yeah.
That's revenge.
Yeah.
Emotion.
I think
And also lunacy.
your classic female slasher is typically revenge. You think of urban legend, it's revenge because their boyfriend got killed, and you know it's just like Lindsay said, it's emotional. Whereas most guy killers, it's like, I don't know, fuck it, I didn't have anything else to do. You know what I mean? It's just so.
There's Stu. He was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Notoriety.
Exactly.
He's quoting Psycho and shit.
Hmm.
Okay, I guess we talked ad nauseum about that. Let's see what other questions we got. Famous actresses that began their careers with a horror movie. Armando Perez. He mentioned
Jennifer
Aniston. Yeah, he actually
Yeah.
mentions her.
Saw that one.
Yep. Renee Zellweger.
Ooh, yes, Texas Chainsaw.
Yep. She
Good
did
call.
They must still be bitching about that movie because originally the Scream Factory thing had both of their faces on the cover, and then now it's gone.
Yeah,
Both of them are off.
Get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look up her name because I can never remember her name. But
Renee Zellweger.
it's the easy there, CP32DTO.
Wow, it's getting longer and longer.
It is. It will always. Crap. Tucker and Dale
Oh, versus Evil.
versus Evil.
Oh.
Oh shit.
The blonde hair girl.
Yeah, she's from Sex Drive.
Well,
Oh.
no, she's the little girl from the beginning of the original It, the TV
Oh, yeah.
miniseries.
I don't know.
That's
name.
her. She's the little girl that gets killed by like the laundry and stuff.
Yeah.
She grows up to
Really?
be that blonde, really booby
Yep.
chick.
I thought she's like, isn't she like redheaded or something like that? In the
No, she's still blonde.
she is blonde. I don't know for whatever reason. I remember
But she
being
has
a
all the
redheaded kid.
freckles, right?
Yeah.
Like she might be like the sandy, like strawberry-ish blonde, but
Yeah.
she's still blonde. That's her.
That's pretty cool.
That
I
messed
know
my
that.
shit up when I figured that out. Because I'm like, whoa, Titty McGee was that tiny little girl.
Tits McGee.
Mm-hmm.
Get it right, Lindsay.
No, I'm Tits McGee. She's Titty McGee.
There's a difference.
We're related, but
Oh yeah, Danielle Harris. There's her first movie. I think that's all she still does.
Yeah, she's always horror. So it's
no, she was in Wish Upon a Star,
and Boy Meets World.
In the chat, please.
and that was and it still is one of my favorite movies. Whenever
I watched that with my daughter 2 weeks ago.
Speaking about
Also,
Halloween
Kathy
H2O,
Heigl.
what about Michelle Williams?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, she was in Dawson's Creek before H2O.
yeah,
Yeah, but not. Yeah, she hadn't done film though, had she?
Yeah, it's still good.
and while we're talking about her, because every single time I watch a review or anything about friggin' H2O, nobody ever brings it up, and it drives me nuts. Where she, like, Michael gets Josh Hartnett and like gets him, like he trips or whatever, he's on the ground and he's going to get him or whatever, but she picks up that giant rock and she lets out like a Hulk scream as she swings it and hits him in the head with it. It's like, "Ugh!" And I've
have
replayed
never
that,
noticed
like,
that.
rewind and rewatched it over and over and over again. You will piss yourself the next time you watch that, because it's not even a scream, it's a like growl that she lets out.
Oh, I gotta look for that.
Brody.
Speaking of funny things to look for in movies, I just have to say this because it has to be shared. If you watch Cliffhanger, at the beginning of Cliffhanger, after that, during the scene where he's dropping her, if you look at the old guy in front of the helicopter, he has the biggest shit-eating grin on his face, like somebody just told him the funniest joke he's ever heard in his life. And it's during a scene which is the most like intense scene out of the whole movie. It's hilarious, and once you see it, you'll never unsee it.
Oh man.
You got to look for that. It's so funny.
Whenever I hear Cliffhanger, though, all I think is Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
The raccoon.
Ace Ventura 2 is a
God.
classic.
It really
I love the
is.
first one. I was never huge into the second one.
Oh man, I love
Me
the
too.
second.
Oh, the first one better, but the second one's still
I
entertaining.
prefer the second, actually.
Find that back in 5 minutes. Just wait longer.
Just wait longer. There's someone on the way. Something.
Did you just refer me as White Devil, White Devil?
Leave that part out.
Leave that part out.
I think it has more one-liners.
It does.
It really does.
Do you have a mint for my
Alex
bad breath?
James says,
Some panaka.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
but really, let's talk about Halloween. We never talk about it.
Yeah.
No.
Ah.
Shut up about Halloween.
There are people that have left killer flicks because of Halloween.
Oh, you know what? Hey, we're supposed to discuss those fucking pictures.
Are we?
Oh, screw that.
Oh, fuck.
Are
Oh, I'm
we?
ready for a Cody rant.
Yeah, why don't you get those popular kids back and you can
Yeah,
talk to them
Cody,
about
give
it?
your rant on that because it needs to be said. And nobody says
Yep.
it better than you.
Look, it's 2018. Can we please get some kind of understanding of what a spoiler is? Can we come to some kind of understanding in the film community about what a fucking spoiler is? Because you still had the same argument. You have people that are like, why do you not understand that this is seriously affecting my potential movie experience? And then you get the people on the other side, well, I can watch the whole movie in a trailer and I'll still see it. I don't understand the problem. I'm going to share it 2 more times. Look, I know these are officially released pictures, so it's, if anybody's to blame for it, it's fucking Blumhouse. But that doesn't mean share it around. If you're going to share it, at least share a link. Don't share pictures. You know what I mean? You're taking away the choice to not see them from everybody else. You can't unsee them just by scrolling innocently and they pop up. Oh, well, now I've seen 2 people dead. And yes, they're probably going to be death scenes that are small in the movie, but if you look at the original Halloween, there's 3 kills?
Yep.
4 kills? And now we've seen 2 of them.
We've seen, yeah.
And we've seen the aftermath. And it's just, it takes away from the experience when you see a movie for the first time, because now when I see the character, when I see either of those 2 characters, I'm going to go, oh, well, when's he getting his jaw ripped off? Oh, well, when's it going to be this? You know, I mean, you automatically know what's going to happen. And I tried to put it in a perspective where everybody would understand that. I took like 6 of the most famous kills in the Halloween franchise and just put a still image. And I put, imagine if these were released before the movie came out. And now imagine what your experience seeing the movie like for the first time would be changed. And there's still 2 or 3 people that just still didn't get it. So I don't know. I wish it some point before people share stuff, especially on the level that was being shared that day, that you could think for an extra second and go, I wonder if this is spoilerish. Maybe I should at least put the word fucking spoiler in the title somewhere, so it at least looks like you're attempting to do that. But if anything,
and don't
just
tag
share
people in it.
Yeah, share the link and don't tag. I was tagged 4 times before I even woke up that morning to see those pictures. And I was like, oh shit. And I just kind of delete. But fucking killer flicks, man. It was like every 5 minutes somebody knew, hey, have you guys seen these pictures yet?
Oh, I was even getting messages.
And and we tried to do the whole master post thing. Where nobody cares, nobody scrolls to find the master post, so it's just I was getting
before I went to see Ace Ventura 2. Somebody let the kind of hot in these rhinos scene out of the bag. I would have been upset.
It's this thing. I can. Rhinos. Yeah, exactly, and it's people are extra sensitive to spoilers because marketing nowadays doesn't care. Marketing will show you the whole fucking movie to get your money. They don't care. And I have had movies ruined. The movie that comes to mind whenever I talk about this is Sinister. And I still like the movie, but I saw the entire movie in the trailer. So when I saw that movie for the first time, nothing really hit me because I knew it was around every corner. And I would love that. That's why nowadays with movies like Hereditary, with A Quiet Place, whenever I hear buzz about it, I don't even watch the trailers.
Dude, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the final shot is in the trailer.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So a lot of people are sensitive to this shit nowadays, and that's why you get people that are very heated like myself when stuff like that gets shared, because marketing does not care. So as fellow film fans, try to help out your community a little bit by not adding to the problem and being a dick. Exactly. So that's my piece.
It's one thing to show photos like stills from like scenes in the movie that
Or me at the
even if
beach
somebody's
eating
being
food.
chased or attacked or something like that. But they're showing final results.
Yeah.
Final
I don't wanna
results
see that.
are spoilers. So
Yes.
you already know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's like a fifth character, like somebody who doesn't even matter. Like they might not even show up in the credits. They don't even get an IMDb credit. It doesn't matter. You're still spoiling something for people, right?
Yeah.
We're
As soon as you see that person on screen, you're like, "Oh, I know how they're going to cup it."
Yeah.
And then you're waiting for that
there's
moment.
no
to
shock
arrive.
value anymore.
Yeah, you take that
no
initial
shock
shock away.
value.
Like, I know Lindsay didn't see the movie, so I'm not going to say what happens, but like everybody that's seen Hereditary, think about the scene following the car scene. Whenever they show the little money shot, imagine if they show as like a still image, like, "Hey guys, come check out Hereditary." You know, it does affect your viewing experience, and you only get that initial viewing experience one time. You have one experience for the first time seeing the movie, and then that's it. Every other time you watch that movie, unless you have amnesia, is a different experience. It's a repeat viewing. So if you ruin that initial experience for somebody, they never get that back.
We need to go back to...
If somebody tells you that Darth Vader is, Luke's father back in the,
Spoilers.
but I'm saying,
What?
you know what I'm saying though. If somebody fucks up something like that for you,
Shit, Vader's
it's
Luke's
it.
father?
It's done.
God damn
You
it.
guys need to go back and watch Alfred Hitchcock's promotional material for Psycho, and
Oh, yeah.
that is a clinic in how to not give anything away and still pique interest, because he showed like parts of the set but never really let anything on. And man, if they did that today, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
now the bottom dollar is what's more important than... They don't give a shit if you know what the end of the movie is. They just...
Yeah, it's a 2-minute condensed version of the movie now.
Yeah,
Blade Runner 2049 is a good example of that, because the trailers were so vague about... Like you couldn't get the story of Blade Runner 2049 from the trailers.
Yeah.
You just got the mood of the film, and that for me was enough. That put my bum in the seat, because I loved the mood of it. But for most people,
it didn't do enough to get them there.
yeah, most people, it's just like, I don't know the story. I'm not going to go and see that.
Exactly, and the people who edit these trailers don't even really work underneath the production company, and the director has no say in it. So like you get the rare exception of like, I think like maybe like Christopher Nolan or somebody like that probably has enough of a say in it, but like movies like Halloween and stuff like that, once your movie's there, you better fucking cross your fingers that marketing department doesn't fuck your movie up, because it's happened so many times.
Dino, thank you for the super chat. Dino told us we need to get the hell back on track. This is bullshit. And
What
cats
happened?
and dogs are living together. So,
What happened? What we do?
oh, he was saying women in horror.
Oh, sorry, Dino. Sorry.
No, he was just
Okay.
messing, I'm sure.
Can I just?
go
I
ahead.
think there was a question. There was a question. I think, unless I'm just completely making this up, but I'm sure this is why I did my list of films from female directors. But I'm sure somebody asked about, well, what are your favourite movies by female directors?
Yes, that
Those
was a question.
sisters,
That's fair.
anything.
So I handily came up with my top 5.
Go ahead.
Extra credit, gold star for
Catherine
Brian.
Bigelow.
Yeah, boy. Okay. So I'll rattle them off quickly, and then if you want to talk about any of them, then feel free. But number 5, Pet Sematary. Number 4, Jennifer's Body. Number 3, American Psycho. Number 2, Near Dark. And number 1, The Babadook.
I was wanting to talk about Jennifer's Body, actually, since that's what we have as our background. So.
The Love Witch.
Yeah, Love Witch. Ice cream truck.
American Mary.
Oh,
Next.
yeah, Sausage Sisters. How could we have not have mentioned the
Sausage
Sausage
are
Sisters?
amazing. They're everything to me.
Oh, they're great.
And they're a hell of a lot better than the Babadook.
No.
Whoa.
What is what is that movie that the slasher movie that they did?
Raw.
They did the
I'm
part
sorry,
2?
Raw female director. Sorry.
Yeah, the Sausage
Sorry.
Sisters.
No, not Saskia. Yeah, I'm all right. Go ahead. Whatever the fuck you were going
Well,
to say.
like See No Evil 2.
Yeah, that's it. See No Evil 2. I love that one. That one's better than the first.
Is that the movie with
Slumber
Kane?
Party Massacre.
But that's because they got
Danielle Harris.
Catherine.
Catherine Isabel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because she'll do anything for those girls.
I love her.
Everybody does.
That's that's
she's the cream queen of my generation. Not
Is she though?
Mine's Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. I was like, who was it in Talkies?
What was the female from Nosferatu again?
Soccer style
Talk.
No, and I've got to be on board with you with Pet Cemetery, 100%.
That's my number one.
Pet Cemetery 2, less so though.
And American Psycho, 100% behind you. But you've lost me on your number one. That's brutal.
There's two horror films that have come out in the last 10 years that are so divisive. They're movies that I personally think are the best horror films in a long, long time, but so many people hate them, and that's It Follows and The Babadook.
Those are the two that I've hated over the last 10 years.
I love
I don't get it.
I
don't get how anyone hate. Yeah, but you're meant to hate the kid.
Yeah.
You're meant to. That's how she. It's all about
abused.
Yeah,
what would you be like if you're 5 years old and have been treated like that for all of those years?
Yeah.
You'd be that kid too.
Yeah, that's true.
He did an amazing job, and he's one of the only good parts of that movie.
I think
she's incredible as well, performance-wise.
Performance-wise, yes. For what the script that she was given, sure, she delivered it well, but the script is
fantastic. No, the script is fantastic. It deals with the just the anxiety of a woman who's suffering loss and can't let go. I think it does it brilliantly.
Someone who has dealt with severe loss and severe depression and postpartum depression, it's the neat little bow that they wrap everything up with at the end, where it's like, okay, all of this shit that you've done, all of these years of emotional and physical, like borderline physical abuse that you subjected your child to for all of these years, that he's going to carry around for the rest of his life, and that's all okay now because you're recognizing that you have a problem. And as long
Jesus.
No, that kid should be fucking taken away from you, and you need to be institutionalized and receive professional help. Not just go, oh yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah.
That's it. No. And it's insulting to other people that carry that around with them every single day for their entire lives and have to see professionals on a regular basis, have to deal with the repercussions of the emotional, physical abuse that they've put on all of those around them. And that poor little boy.
But you're catching her at one moment of her life at the end, and but it's like everyone who goes to these, the help, the psychological help of which you're speaking, first has to reach that point where they recognize, oh, I'm in this place, I do need help, and that's where we leave her at the end. That doesn't mean to say there's
symbolism that they use though.
But you can't. But you can't have another hour and a half of film in which we're dealing psychologically with all that stuff because we're seeing her go through.
No. And I understand that, but they didn't have to wrap it up as neatly as they did.
Yeah.
They could have left it messy.
You could even leave it open-ended, I mean...
Completely
I feel like it was left open-ended, though, with her kind of feeding the monster in the basement.
Yeah. The feeding the monster is the recognizing of the issue.
And potentially could come back.
But it was like, now everything's okay with her and her son. And
I didn't see it that way, though. I saw it as anything could happen. She recognizes it, but that beast is right there.
It's always there.
Right back.
Exactly. The best kind of horror movie.
That way.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because
other people in positions similar that didn't see it that way, and were actually very highly offended by it.
Well, no, you bring an interesting perspective to it, for sure. But I think it's funny because I hear Brian defending the character of the kid. I feel like me and Brian defend that kid the same way we defend Trent in Friday the 13th. It's like, I hate that character. You're fucking supposed to. Like,
I love Trent.
Oh, stop
He's
it.
stupendous.
Get off my
Trent's funny. Trent's awesome because he's funny. He's like he's meant to be a douche. He's like a douche ramped up to 11. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
dude.
He's that guy from Van Wilder.
Yeah, if there was a douchebag awards, he would win the fucking prize. He played it perfectly. Yeah, but moving on.
He played the part perfectly. I got to bring up something Zachary Haith just said in the chat. He said, "Take away the score from It Follows, it's lame." You can say that, but to me, a score is that important. Take away the score from Halloween, it's a vastly different film. So that's my.
Take away the score from Ice Cream Truck, and it's absolutely nothing.
The score just kind of complements everything about It Follows.
I think scores are that important, though. I love good movie scores. So maybe scores aren't as important to Zachary, but to me, scores are really important. Maybe that's because I'm a musician, though. So.
The score in It Follows is okay. Yeah.
Shut
up.
The score about it. Amazing.
Oh no, the cinematography is good too.
It's fine.
Oh, my side hurts.
I feel like Brian doesn't like me anymore.
Well, no. Hey, this is gonna make or break
That's
it.
Okay, though.
Do you love Get Out?
Oh no.
Oh,
here we go.
You're gonna hate me right now.
Go ahead.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you're fine. We're good.
No,
Brian loves you.
Because all of this shit that goes on with Get Out, I'm like, do I want to put myself on one or the other side? I'm like, where do I put myself? I'm like, yeah, I'm good just right here where I am.
It's fine.
I can hear it. It's like that dog meme where like everything's on fire. It's like, it's okay. Everything's fine.
Here's the thing with Get Out, right? With Get Out, it's become this thing where everyone acts like I hate it.
No,
I actually don't.
No, I like the movie.
I think it's a very good film. But the moment you start saying that deserves to win Best Picture and Oscar, then you're smoking crack. Why, Frank?
I have no opinion on the matter whatsoever.
But I do not like crack. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, I think it's a really great movie, but there are about 20 other movies that year that could have taken that nomination.
And how do you feel about Moonlight, Brian? That's weird. There's some sort of common denominator about Moonlight and Get Out that I just can't.
Oh, piss off! Don't try and pull the race card because there's plenty of films that I think deserve. Go back a couple of years. We got 12 Years a Slave. That was a worthy nomination. That was a worthy Best Picture.
Oh God!
Let me say, in case people are misinterpreting them, I'm having fun. I don't genuinely think there's anything there. I was just having fun. Sorry, Brian.
Well, I have to go to work in the morning.
So anyway,
it's getting late. But I will say, Jennifer's Body. I liked it. I think it's pretty.
I
good.
love Jennifer's Body.
Yeah. I know some
underrated,
movie, but I enjoyed it actually. I think the script by
Diablo Cody.
Thank you. Is very witty. I thought Megan Fox actually did a really good job. I think if you steer Megan in the right way, then she can deliver, and I think she does a great job in that. I think there's a nice scene between her and Amanda Seyfried in the movie.
Oh my God! Really?
Sorry. But no,
you just undone all the conversation we've had in this episode.
I know. It's a good movie, though. I think.
We talked about it before the stream, but we actually haven't even really gotten onto like topics of tits, which I'm really surprised about.
Yeah, I know, right? That is
That's good.
Wow, we made it, guys! We made it.
I'm sorry.
We have matured as human beings.
I'm sorry, I spaced out. Did somebody say something about tits?
No, she said
I brought it up. Who knew?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well,
I'm just here for
the next stream, I guess. The whole thing will be about that.
I'll be absent from that one.
Lindsay, what do you have coming up next? And don't tell me nothing. I want you to get back behind that camera, and I want you to deliver. What do you got?
I have some plans in mind. First, we're marketing right now to find a new laptop for me.
Cool.
Because I want something that's going to be quick. I'm not even really worried so much about storage because I have external hard drives, but I want something that's small and quick and has capabilities for good editing software. Once I have that, I'm going to be starting, hopefully, a couple of new segments.
Nice.
Because people keep saying that they want reviews, and then I put out reviews, and then nobody watches
People
the
don't
reviews.
know what they want. I figured
People
that out.
bitch about the
put 'em
unboxing,
out
but everybody
continuously.
watches the unboxing.
Yeah. People don't know what they want.
So I kind of want to branch out, like Brian was saying very early in the stream, that it's hard to kind of designate yourself to one genre or one topic, and I want to stay in the horror realm, but I do want to start incorporating some more of my special effects back into the channel again, because I really miss doing it, and I hate that I don't do it as much as I used to. Like, I used to spend an entire weekend doing like 15 different looks, and like doing one and showering and doing one and showering.
Wow. That's cool.
And it was everything to me, and I hate that I've lost touch with it. But also I want to do, and I was talking with Lee about some of these, so like, of course I have to have witty taglines, so Mother May I Try, and it's where I get to review new products and try out new things, and maybe like horror-themed games or what have you, and bedtime stories, where I can talk about like real true stories of serial killers, or the truth behind urban legends. And because a lot of those people think like urban legends don't have any truth behind them, and they do. And I want to talk about all of that kind of stuff. So that's essentially what I have coming whenever
There's
I
a
get
big
around to
market
it.
for that stuff, actually, because I knew one guy, he started off doing reviews, and he was getting nowhere. And so he completely changed his game up and did just like those ghost stories, and he would just do like a spoken word type deal, you know, wouldn't even show his face. And then
Emily gets a lot of
he
hits
got
on
like
those.
10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can work. Cody, what do you got coming up?
A rant.
Exactly. I never do those. But I'm still kind of focusing on Patreon right now, trying to get those Patreon requests that I've got backed up out, and I've gotten a couple of them out last weekend. I've got Joyride. I just watched that the other day, so I'll be doing that one soon. A couple other ones. I've announced it before, but I'm just kind of tired, so I'm blanking on a lot of the titles. But there's at least 10 of them that I still have to do.
Yeah.
Somebody reminded me I still have to do the remake to Maniac, which I've seen before, but I reviewed the original one. And an idea that I'm tossing around, I did a Q&A, just kind of an impromptu thing the other night, and it was really successful. So
Yeah.
so it was
Whatever.
pretty,
Ignore everyone.
I didn't ignore anybody, but it's
I had to send a super chat to get you to notice that I was there for like the last hour.
that's
Right, he can
because by
steal
the
your
time
audience. It's
by
fine.
the time I answer one question, there's 45 more, and my screen keeps swiping. I know. Fuck Cody Leach. But anyway, it's
Oh man, just
but
so many people to handle. What am I going to do with myself?
anyway, so that was that. It went really well. So what I'm thinking about doing either a weekly, I don't want to commit too much, or a bi-weekly, like a commentary where I'll do the same thing and try to get like a stand for my phone to where I'll do like a live commentary once in a while, because it seemed like people really enjoy the live thing. So that's an idea I'm tossing around. And then Lee and I still have to do Phantasm 2 at some point in 2018. So we'll get to that
eventually. CP, what do you got coming up?
I'm focusing on my health, but
Yeah, how's that going?
it's going. It's not lymphoma, and it's not lung cancer. So
That's
You don't have any definitive answers, just what
Right.
it can't be.
right. So it's a slow moving disease that is rare, and I need to fix it. But getting back to it, on Friday I'll be experiencing Salo. Which
Oh
is
my god.
a notorious film, and you'll be able to watch that with me live Friday.
wow.
No, nobody wants to watch it again.
You don't have to watch it. You just watch my horrified expression.
Jesus.
And so I've been doing all these ridiculous. I just started doing these movies that people are like notorious for not watching.
Yeah.
I started with Irreversible. Martyrs is coming out, and then Salo, and then after that is a Serbian film. So
Wow. I can't watch the Serbian film. There's no way.
yeah.
No.
So
No, I won't watch it.
No.
Yep.
No.
And I'll be reviewing them and telling you why people like them. And I fucking pray for me because I don't know how to fuck you.
Brian,
Oh, yeah,
what
that-
you got coming up, brother?
Yeah, Brian.
I saw Brian yawn.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing
Is he still awake?
Yeah.
It's actually light. It is literally light.
Oh my God.
It's 5. What have I got? Yeah, I guess I've got a video coming up on the cultural relevance of Get Out.
You got our stuff, Brian.
Yeah. I've got carrying on with my Hitchcock reviews. I coming very close to finishing Kubrick. I've got a collaboration with Cody coming up. We're doing top 5 John Carpenter films over on his channel. We're doing top 5 science fiction movie sequels on my channel. I've got a video coming up with top 10 movies of 1997, because why not?
Because why not?
And a few other bits that are already filmed and done and ready to go. So,
what's coming up for you, Bree?
On my front, I'm going to be doing Last House on the Left, the original. I got the Arrow release, and so I've been wanting to review that one. The Predator movies, I'm wanting to jump into those. I actually already recorded my review for Predators, so I'm going to be going through all those. I want to jump into some more Giallo. I got to do Deep Red. I've been planning on Deep Red forever, and then I got a few patron requests that I want to get done. So, and then I'm doing H2O Revisited. So that's
wait for Michelle with the.
I'm gonna have a whole like 10-minute segment on just that little outcry that she.
You're gonna rewind and watch it like 10 times. Sometimes, because I remember like with VHS, you could put it in slow mo.
Yeah,
that was good times.
Can you just do like a quick demonstration of how the scream kind of like happens?
I don't know. No, I don't think I can, because I'm going to laugh too much through it. I can do it in any other time, but like I'm put on the spot right now, so I would not be able to do it. It's a growl.
That's it. Yeah, you did it. Okay. All right, that's it, guys. This was a fun. I apologize for the glitches at the beginning, but it wouldn't be a Scream stream without glitches at the beginning. But this was like a monster glitch, so we got through it though. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody has a great night, and toodles, everybody.